fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you in part by Ford Trucks, built Ford tough. Lucky Strike, producers of quality fishing tackle and landing nets since 1929. Rapala, premium fishing gear, crafted from experience. Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons, volunteers teaching safe boating.
Let's go fishing whenever you're in the mood. Let's go fishing. Baby, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. You wanna grab your hat, man, and get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
There we go. Fish on.
Okay, it took you 3 casts.
Well, I had a couple other hits there too.
What's the average size of these fish?
The average 10 to 12 pounds. And you get some small ones, you know, 6, 7 pound jack.
I don't
You got a
believe this.
fish.
Well, I wasn't fishing. This isn't right.
This is coho fishing.
Have I got a dolly? What's going on here?
It's a big dolly or coho. I saw him roll down there.
You didn't tell me they hit it when it's laying on the bottom.
Oh yes.
You know, we ran up the river, and for those of you that haven't been to BC before, the rivers are all in between the coastal mountains. You can see the mountains kind of barely because we've got lots of mist and it's been raining. It's so gorgeous. And even with the rain in your face, it's beautiful. We pulled into this pool, and it takes a little bit of time to get ready to fish, and then start casting. And look at these gorgeous cohos that we have on. Are these pretty fresh fish, Justin?
These are fairly fresh fish. This guy's been battling a little bit if you look at him. Some seal lower down on the skein has been after him, and he's escaped.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, you know what? We talked about handling fish, and I'm going to try this. Hopefully this rod isn't going to shoot out from underneath my armpit. Notice I got my reel on this side. So we're not even going to handle this guy. Hopefully he won't break your line and take the jig with him. Look at roll, roll, roll. Come here.
Coho trait.
Come here. I do have a hemostat, but we don't need it because this guy is hooked very lightly. You can see right in the maxillary, and we are using barbless hooks. So all I'm going to do is take it out. But before I do that, I'm going to kind of roll him over so you can see the side. He's probably, you know what, we're just going to take that hook out and let him go because there's no, there. That's a good release. Now, Mr. Gyger, am I pronouncing that properly?
Yes, you are, Italo.
Okay, it's not Gyger.
It's not Gyger.
Okay, Mr. Gyger. And what nationality is that, by the way?
Swiss.
I didn't know you were
Canadian,
Swiss.
but Swiss.
I didn't know you were Swiss.
My
That's
grandfather
awesome.
comes from Switzerland.
Okay,
On my dad's side.
Excellent.
This is a nice silverfish, Italo.
Beautiful, eh? Just
Yeah,
very shiny. You know, look at what this fish has done. It's got the line wrapped right around the snout and back around the maxillary. That's interesting. Okay,
Splash.
The water's wet. Now, we don't encourage people to handline fish, but the way Justin's working the line, this fish is fought out a little bit, and he's letting the line go through his fingers. Yeah, the reason we're doing this, you know, you could take time and fight the fish right out, but we know there's so many fish in there that we, you know, we're kind of bringing them in quickly, and you can see that jig. Now, Justin, you were tying these up till what? 11 o'clock last night, or this morning after you woke up?
This morning, I woke up and remembered I didn't have any jigs tied, so before I could shave.
Now, you're a strong man.
There we go.
Holding that fish in your bare hands. Notice I've got, because I'm a tourist, I've got gloves on. Gorgeous sheen. Female?
Yes,
Just guessing?
definitely female, yeah.
So she's
Small
got a
mouth.
little head, no big kuip or anything. Now, I'm hoping we're going to get some dark fish, some males. You think there's some red guys in here?
Definitely. There's some big, colorful fall fish. There's going to be some bright silverfish.
Wow.
We're at the peak of the run right now, Italo.
Excellent.
Which means you're going to get a mix of everything. This is when the most amount of fish are in the system.
Beautiful.
Ooh,
You
the
did
water is
that
cold.
very well.
Along with the world-class fishing opportunities, BC's Pacific Northwest is blessed to have some of the most rugged yet beautiful scenery found anywhere in North America. Located only minutes from town, the inn is nestled amongst tall stands of timber and sits atop a mountain of bedrock, giving you the feeling of being in the midst of the wilderness. The Blackstone Restaurant, which is part of the inn, provides West Coast Fishing Adventures guests the very best in cuisine in the Northwest. When it comes to fishing, West Coast Fishing Adventures are specialists who have over 15 years of guiding experience. They utilize top-of-the-line drift boats, jet boats, and whitewater rafts fully equipped with safety gear to get anglers to the best fishing areas. In the Terrace, BC region, you can find all 5 species of Pacific salmon. With 3 completely different watersheds and over 2 dozen tributaries, West Coast fishing adventures can truly provide you with a fishing trip of a lifetime.
There we go. Fish on.
Unbelievable. And this is normal.
This is normal for coho fishing when you have the right conditions.
You know, I'm not gonna leave my jig out there this time because I want to be able to have an intelligent conversation without being distracted. Okay. Do you remember when you were taken out for your first time to
Yes.
do this river fishing?
Yep.
How old were you?
The first time fishing on the Skeena system was with my uncle, whom you fished with,
Yes.
and my dad, and we were catching Chinook salmon.
How
That
old were
was-
you?
I would have been 12 years old. We'd come up here before then as well. When I was little, I didn't get to fish as much then. You know, I started coming up to the Skeena region when I was probably 7 or 8 years old.
So you have a very rich fishing heritage.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. On both sides of the family. My uncle Freddie has been taking me out since I was old enough to fish, and
Yeah.
my Uncle Noel has been up here guiding for years and years and years. So
Yeah.
my mom's a mad fisherman as well.
Good. Now this looks like a little male.
Little male. He has a little kite
Got a
on
little
there.
bit of black
little
underneath
color on
his lower jaw. You know what? I think cohos are one of the nicest salmon. I mean, they're all nice. You know, you get into a
Yeah.
big Chinook or you get into a really bright chum. But I love the knobs these cohos develop when they get bigger.
The big northern nose.
Yeah. Now I'm going to do the line thing again. And if it wants to go, it can go. You can see this guy's developing a real knob. I don't know if there's the technical name for that. The top, the kite
The kite is all I've ever heard it called, and we
Okay.
call it the northern nose.
Okay.
Everything gets big in northern BC.
Well, when they get 15 to 20 pounds, they're almost like a doorknob, like the
Yeah.
handle.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Look they got a character, and I like the way he's looking. He knows there's something in his mouth. So let me just take that out for you, Mr. Fish. Come here. I don't want to hurt you.
The other thing you'll find with the bigger fish, because of that big nose, the northerns, how they like to roll, their coho roll in the line.
Big mouths.
Their big noses get wrapped up in the line a lot of times.
Yeah. There.
There
There's
it
your
goes.
jig.
Thank you, sir.
This is funny holding them like this. That's how you hold bass. What a beautiful coho. So just like
Yeah, I wouldn't do it without the gloves on, that's for sure.
No. Look, you can see he's got that red tinge. Some of these guys get really blood red, almost like a sockeye. He's got a little bit of black, and he's looking at me. Look, he's following my finger. This is kind of cute. So I'm just going to flip him over. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Coho.
Now, I don't know if the yellow has something to do with it, too. You just keep using that bright thing. I'll use this little pink one, okay? They say pink is a salmon color, right?
Pink is my favorite color for salmon fishing, period.
Now,
But coho sometimes, they'll key in on yellow or blue or green.
yeah.
It's more the technique with the jig than anything, more than color.
We were down rigging, and I caught it on a monkey puke. Anyways, it was coming in. It was kind of coming out of the water, and then it went back down again, and did it again. Then it came up to the boat, and then it kind of skedaddled away. And anyways, then it came in, and I caught it. My husband netted it, and I said, "This is for the contest." So that's about it. Except my husband caught a bigger one than me this year.
No, we don't want to hear about that.
No. I didn't like it either.
You know, one advantage to fishing up here in the Terrace, BC area, you have such a variety of fishing. You can go to places like we have this afternoon where you can just walk to your fish, or you can take a jet boat to get to some of the most remote areas and some of the fresher fish and literally no competition. Now, if you're going to be trailering anywhere in Canada, I've got to give you a safe tip. For example, when you're using your trailer hitch and you're putting a boat on, in our case, we were trailing a jet boat. And those boats are made out of heavy aluminum because they've got to be tough to go through rapids and shallow water. Most of the weight when you're trailering should be on the actual trailer or on the tongue, just back a bit from the hitch. The hitch should only have about 10% of the weight. So if you're struggling with your trailer, because it's so heavy and you need 3 guys to put it on that ball, it's too heavy. And it can cause problems, especially on the highway if something were to happen or if you have to swerve. Now that's just one of the many tips that has to do with boating. If you'd like to get more information, you can contact the Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons, or you can go to our website and that'll click you onto them. Our website is www.canadian-sportfishing.com. Okay, that's using my back, right?
There you go.
You know, we're testing these new rods from Rapala, and I'm using a 9.5 footer, and it feels good. I don't have the backbone that you have with that shorter rod, but I got a long butt, so I can put it in my belly.
Which is nice.
So this is more of the traditional steelhead type rod. It's 2-piece, it's rated for a line from like 6 to 12 pound test, and I've got it at 12 pound test. That felt good when I set the hook, but then it started feeling like a smaller fish. Now it's all rolled up in the line.
Typical. He's a big male.
Yeah, that's a nice fish. I love that snout. Come on. You can keep casting if you want. I don't mind if you get another
geez.
one.
Don't mind if I do.
Sure, because this guy's out here. Now we've got fairly deep water in this pool, and I don't think there's any obstructions like trees, even though there's some wood back here on the shore. So it's an ideal pool to cast and fish. Because we are using barbless hooks, it really helps to keep the pressure on the fish. And you'll lose, what do you think the actual landing ratio is, Justin, from all the clients that you have out? Because a lot of them aren't used to the BC type fishing. How many fish will they land? They don't bat 100%, right?
Nobody bats 100% Italo. Oh, except, well, I shouldn't say nobody. The odd time you do.
Right.
But I found through my experience and my guests who fish with barbs and I who used to fish with barbs.
I fish with barb.
Yeah.
You didn't get that, did you? It's my wife.
I get it now.
Yeah, okay.
Took your northern
Look
guide
at,
a
he's
while
got
to
a
get it.
beautiful snout. This fish is a beautiful thing. Justin?
Yes, sir. That's a little bigger. Now we're getting in the 12 pound, 15 pound range.
Beautiful. Nice snout. Man, like, I know you're fishing, but would you mind just holding this guy up so the viewers can see it?
That can be arranged. I happen to know a guide.
This is beautiful. Look at this. Look at that fish roll. That water is so clear. Let me
And
tell
very
you.
key to these rivers too, Italo, that they're all wild fish. If you look at the outpost finner on these fish, and catch and release isn't the only answer, but I sure appreciate it for everybody who does catch and release and to do it properly. We're doing it in deep water. These fish don't get hurt. They don't get banged on the rocks.
Look at that.
Very low mortality rate. You don't play them for hours and hours and hours.
Well, we're using 12-pound test line, and I'm using that Rapala Tough line, which is a stronger line because it has an abrasion-resistive skin. And when I called you from Ontario, you said 12 to about 17.
Yeah.
You know, really, you don't need more line weight than that. And if you have the right rod, like, you know, even though Justin is using a shorter, stiffer rod, I'm using a longer rod that's not as stiff. You can use a variety of outfits here. You could probably go lighter, but if you go lighter, it takes you longer to land the fish. They use up more energy.
Yeah.
So it does help if you have an outfit that you can horse the fish in a little bit.
Match the gear of the fish.
Yeah, and you were also saying earlier that the type of jigs that you use, you like to use a lighter hook, even
Yeah.
though it's barbless.
Some people like to use, you know, a 3 or a 4-aught hook, but for coho it's not needed, Italo. The problem is if you look at the size of the fish compared to the size of the hook, and if you have a 3-aught or a 4-aught, you're going to start doing damage to
Right.
the fish. Again, matching your gear, terminal tackle as well,
Yeah.
to the fish you're catching. For Chinook, it's fine, but for coho, you don't need it. This is a 1-aught or a 2-aught with a 3/8 ounce jig, so it doesn't harm the fish. It doesn't put big holes in their mouth. They don't bleed.
I agree.
Best for the fish.
Can I ask my dad a question of what kind of lure I caught it on?
You betcha.
It was a Williams wobbler. It was silver and gold color. I asked my sister for a little bit of help because it was slipping out of my hands, and it was just under 10 pounds. It was 27 inches, and that's all I know about my fish.
Steelhead, chum, Chinook.
I guess just bigger jigs. It really helps to be able to spin 360 degrees, because when the fish goes that way,
So
you
you're
want to
saying
be able
ballet
to turn.
lessons are in
Yeah,
order?
yeah, it helps. The pirouette thing, beautiful snouts. Boy,
Oh yeah, that's a
amazing.
nice fish.
Gonna just hold the jig up and slide it out. Look at this, gone. You know, some of them we're letting you look at really well. Some we're just taking the hook out because we're getting so many fish here. Yeah, and that was nice of you to actually wait till I hooked up first before you hooked up that time.
This is a big fish.
This water's awesome.
Yes, it is.
And that's a big
Beautiful shape.
fish. And he ate that jig. I don't even see the hair. So you know what? I may take my hemostats. Am I seeing things or is it gone?
He ate it.
He ate the whole thing.
Maybe if it's wrapped around his maxillary, it might. The head might
I'm
pop
ready.
out.
Dr. Labignan's ready. Okay. I
Here,
don't want
big
you
fella.
to get your fingers really wet, you know, because you got to hold it.
Look at
That,
that.
that is a wide fish.
That is a big fish.
You know what? It is. It's just on this side. It's not really hooked bad.
Usually they're a big fella.
Come here. He's not too heavy, is he? You don't mind?
He's
you
too
don't,
heavy.
You don't mind if I take my time? Okay, what I'm going to do, I got it there, off the maxillary. You know what? Both maxillaries. Look at this. Man, come on. I'm trying to get the thing off. And I don't know if he's wrapped around twice.
The jig is not even in him anymore.
No,
It's just laying there.
it's right here. If I can just, maybe if I can get the jig out there. Wow. Talk about energy. Nice fish, Justin. Gonna get my line up here real quick.
Trying to give me another shower. Come here, buddy.
Gorgeous. You know, I'm amazed that these cohos take so well, being this far upriver. How far are these fish from the Pacific Ocean?
In reality, we're not that far. Maybe 60 kilometers, 70 kilometers.
Okay. And
The
how long?
Skeena down below us, we're
Yeah.
about 20 kilometers up this river, and the Skeena itself is tidally influenced about 10 kilometers down from where we put the boat in.
Right. And how long do you think these fish have been up?
Some of these fish have been in here since September.
Wow.
Some are coming in on the tides today.
Right. Just going to pull this fish up. Not too far out of the water. Look at that. Beautiful sheen. You can see the very bright yellow jig in its mouth. Just very lightly should fall out. We're going to get him back in the water real quick. See a beautiful animal. So much energy. What gets me is how the males especially get that really thin back. They
Yeah.
almost look like a pink. You know, the way the pinks develop, that really thin, high bank.
Yeah.
You know what, Justin? I'm going to swing him around in the shallow water. And we're going to watch him say bye-bye. Okay. That wasn't very polite. He just took off like a lightning bolt.
Canadian Sport Fishing has been brought to you in part by Ford Trucks, built Ford tough. Lucky Strike, producers of quality fishing tackle and landing nets since 1929. Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons, volunteers teaching safe boating.